Hello, welcome to the video, and today we're going to be discussing about the possible USMNT squad for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. So, let's begin. So basically the USMNT just qualified for the Olympics, and along with that, the USMNT is going to be having a very exciting summer in 2024. Again, 2024, is there anything big yet for the USMNT? Of course. March, there's going to be the Nations League Final Four, which we're gonna have to see because if the SMT have a three-peat, you know where this is going. You know where this is going. If the SMT has a three-peat in the Nations League, which will be very exciting. Um, Along with that, the SMT is going to be playing the Copa America, which we all know, and the SMT is going to be playing in the Olympics for the first time in who knows how many years. So basically, we are in the Olympics, which is very exciting. Um, I felt like last time, like if let's say if Jason Christ decided to do his job correctly, we could have had a very good Olympic squad in Tokyo, which could have like if I have to say some of the names, it's just Christian Pulisic, Tim Well, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Sergio Dest, Chris Richards, Mark McKenzie. I think Anthony Robinson was Olympic eligible. I have to check it. I think he was. I don't think Anthony Robinson was that good back then. Like Anthony Robinson was more good towards like the Olympic qualifying stuff. Oh no, he. I don't think he was. Maybe he was. I think he. Wait, I have to think about this. I don't think so. But still, we could have probably brought a Rob as a one of the older players. So basically, we could have had a very good Olympic squad in Tokyo, but Jason Christ decided to pull off the crazy like the the PE teacher type stuff. So basically, we did not qualify to the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and now we're here. We're qualified finally to the Olympic Games, which took a whole long ass time. So let's talk about the Olympic squad rules. So basically, it's 18 players, 11 for the starting 11, and 7 on the bench. And you can bring 3 extra players, which will be there in case of injury. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. And 3 of those players have to be goalkeepers. I do not know why is there rules like that in the Olympics. 3 of the 21 players have to be freaking uh they have to be freaking goalkeepers. So I think it only has to be 2. Like in my opinion, that it should only be 2. But like they want to be doing all these crazy roles and stuff, and now yeah, I think Gaga Sonina has enough quality to be a good starting goalkeeper in the Olympic Games. Most national teams will bring in like an older player as a goalkeeper, one of the 3 older players as a goalkeeper, but I don't think we have to throw that spot to the goalkeeper. I think Gagasuna has enough quality. And again, Shitoro Dunsel, Alex Bordo, I think those are pretty solid backup options, pretty solid like bench options. If something happens to Gagasuna, like then we're maybe gonna have to bring an older player as a goalkeeper. But in case like I think if the Chicago Fire will release Chris Brady, at least we can have another starting quality goalkeeper as a U23 spot. Um, Again, I don't think the Fire will release Chris Brady. I think the only universe where I think the Fire will actually release Chris Brady is if Gabriel Sunino gets injured. That's the only scenario in the entire universe where I think Chris Brady will be released by the Chicago Fire. But until then, I think the Chicago Fire are not going to want to release Chris Brady anytime soon. If let's say if he gets to move abroad, I think he will be in the Olympic squad. But if he stays in the disqualifier, which I think it's the most probable, I think he's probably not going to be released. Like most likely he will not. Uh, so basically, I think it's now going off to the center backs. Center backs is a little tricky. We don't have a lot of U20 good U23 center backs, so I think we're gonna have to throw two spots there to to older players. So Kick Perry and James Sands are over the age. If it was up to me, I think I'll bring John Brooks, but I don't think like let's say if Mickey Varas was the coach, like I don't think like even if he was the coach, I don't think he like just because like U.S. soccer is that corrupt, I don't think he will even select John Brooks. But if I were selecting him, I'll probably select John Brooks. Like I probably will. But I think we have to use this as a dual national recruiting method. Again, I think we have to recruit Creek Pierre. I think he has a. We have to recruit him. Like we do. We have to. Like I know Austin Trusty and Mark McKenzie are not bad players at all, but again, like a player with the ceiling of Creek Pierre, I think we cannot afford to lose it. Uh, I think Hikari is in for for a very good season in the Eredivisie. So I think we have to do our best to recruit him. Again, unless if the Netherlands go and offer Kikpierre a spot in the Euros, I think the only method we can probably use to like win over Perry is in case if we like offer him a spot in the Copa America. That is the only way possible. But I think the Netherlands are not probably not gonna select Perry. They already got Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, they got Stefan de Vrij. Along with that, I think they got Timber as well. So the Netherlands has a lot of center back options. Daily Blind, I think they use him more as as a left wing back. Uh, Nathan Ake, yet another Delict. How can I forget about him? Sven Botman. So again, they got a lot of options at center back. So I don't necessarily think they're gonna select him unless, of course, injuries. But aside, but I think if we can offer Kik Perry a spot in the Olympics, I think that's good enough for us to recruit him. That's what I'm thinking. And I think we have to pull this off. We have to do it. Like we just have to. Um, and I think it'll be a very good move for us and the player. I think it'll be a very good move because I think he with Geek Perry in the squad, I think he will become one. He'll probably be one of our top two left-footed center backs, in my opinion. That's how high I regard him. So yeah, James Sands again, like let's say he had a pretty good Gold Cup. Some people living the Pete on the Living Yanks wasn't very hard on James Sands. I think CONCACAF is his level. I think MLS will probably be his level forever. But that doesn't mean he is a player that cannot contribute to an Olympic squad. And considering the fact that James Sands is a very versatile player, he can play the sixth, he can play as a center back, he can play as a right back. I think he's even played as a left back before, I think. And if in case we want to go to a back three, again you can put James Sands in the middle. So we you have a lot of options when it comes to James Sands. I don't think we should start him, but I think he should be a good option off the bench as an older player. Um, Justin Shea, I think he can be a very good option at center back as well. But he's mostly here mostly for the versatility standpoint. Like let's say if Byron Reynolds gets injured or something like, or already spoiled one of the fullback spots. But let's say if one of our right backs gets injured, I think Justin Shea is good enough to be filling out over there. So again, we have a lot of versatility in this center back. I think Keith Perry can play as a left back as well. So we have a lot of versatility in these on these center backs. So yeah, and Jalen Neal, of course, like he had a very good Gold Cup. He was undoubtedly the best center back we had in this Gold Cup. He was better than Miles Ronson. He was better than Aaron Long, and he was certainly most likely like very like 100% better than Matt Miazga. Like especially Aaron Long as well. I forgot to mention it. I forgot to say especially before Aaron Long. So yeah. Now let's go to the fullbacks. Fullbacks is pretty interesting. I think John Tolkien and Kate Bali will be competing for that starting left back spot. That's what I'm thinking. But again, I think this is more for a spot for Wiley. I'm like I saw John Tolkien in the Gold Cup, and I wasn't very convinced by him. I think John Tolkien could use a little bit more of attacking output in his game. I don't think he's a bad defender at all, but I think if you want to be a good, successful fullback in today's game, you have to go forward. Like you just have to go forward and overlap and put in a good cross. And I think he's probably gonna learn that to do that a lot more consistency if he gets to move abroad. I hope he does. That's what I'm hoping for. I think he is good enough. Like he's gotten interest from RB Salzburg. He's gotten interest from Belgium as well. I don't think he's the top five. Um, he's not ready for a top five league yet. But as a like let's say a Belgium, an Eredivisie, and or a or an Austria, I think he is good enough for that. Brian Reynolds, he was pretty good during the Gold Cup. He wasn't that good during the knockout stages. I think in that second goal against Canada, I thought his defending was atrocious in the second goal, and I feel he could have done a whole lot better against Panama. He did. He wasn't bad. Wait, wait. But he could have done a lot better. He just could have done a whole lot better. I feel like with a second season in Westerlo, I think he's going to be improving a lot. So yeah, now let's go to the midfielders. Midfielders, so it's three sixes and two number tens. So Rakas Puksas is a pretty versatile player. So he's right now injured. Sadly, that he is injured right now. Sadly, he's out for 2 months, which is a very long time. Like when he was starting for Hajduk Split, this man was amazing. This dude scored goals in back-to-back games for Hajduk Split, which is amazing for a player of his age. And I feel like once he's recovered and all, once he starts to get it into the season, I feel like he might get a move abroad by the end of this season. I feel like he would. I feel he's already good enough for a. Well, he's already abroad, but like he is ready for a move to a bigger league overall. Again, like I think he's just ready for it. I think he is. Um, Again, we could have had a much better U20 World Cup if we had Rukas Pukstas and Kevin Praise. If we had both of those players during the entire time during the group stages, our U20 World Cup could have gone a whole lot better than it wasn't bad. Like we made it to quarterfinals, but we could have possibly made a semifinal run with those two on the team, and already spoiled the one of the winger spots already. So yeah, Brian Gutierrez, I feel he's been pretty good with the Chicago Fire. I saw him against Club America. I felt he did pretty good. He he was getting fouled a lot. He did create some chances here and there. He's a player that at least tries something to do get into the final third. Again, I feel like he should be starting. I think he should be the number 10. I don't think Sherdan Shakiri is a. I don't think he lost a lot of quality. I don't think he cares about MLS at all. I think he's just there, just like for some vibes and all that stuff. Paxton Aaronson, I feel like he would be a solidified. I feel like he would be a solid bench option this season for Eintracht Frankfurt. Uh, I feel like he did do a lot of improvement in preseason. He scored some goals during preseason. It was against some sixth tier club in Germany, but he scored some goals, which is the important part about it. So I feel like again, I feel like Pastor Aronson would have a like a decent second season in the Bundesliga. So Tanner Tessman has had a pretty good season last season in at Venetian City B. Uh, I feel like this season he'll be a lot better. He was pretty good last season, but I feel that this upcoming season, I feel like he's gonna ball out. That's what I'm feeling like. I know there's Gianluca Busio, but again, I wasn't really convinced by Gianluca Busio during the Gold Cup. And his form for club either. Like his form for club has been atrocious. Like trust me, um, it has been atrocious. Like, but but I'm getting off trail over here. So I think Taryn Tasman has some qualities to be a very good number six. He's athletic. He's pretty strong. He's pretty good on the ball. The only thing like Gianluca Busio, I think he's only better on is the long passing and his set pieces are pretty good. Like his set pieces are pretty decent. So I feel like those are the only two things that Gianluca Busio does better than Tanner Tessman. But outside of that, I think Tanner Tessman is a much better player than Gianluca Busio. Like, trust me. Amir Richardson, another dual national that we need to recruit. Um, he's right now we're competing with France and Morocco. I think like Amir Richardson is not good enough for France. Like, let's be real over here. Like, let's be 100% real over here. They got Rabiot, they got Tuchel, they got Kamavinga, they got who knows how many players in there. I think they have a lot of talent. Like, trust me, France has a lot of talent at the 8 and the 6. And again, there's always a possibility of N'Golo Kante staying great for another 4 years. Paul Pogba, I don't know if he's ever going to have a comeback in his career. At this point of his career, I don't think he's ever going to have a comeback, especially with the season he had at Juventus. Uh, again, you got Kamara as well. So you have a lot of talent at the 6, which is where Amir Richardson plays, and it's like I feel like we can maybe win it over Morocco. Uh, I think Amir Richardson did play with Morocco in U21, I think. However, I feel like giving him a spot in the Olympics is probably going to be a very good option for him. Uh, I don't know when is AFCON. AFCON is like I really don't know when is AFCON during this cycle. Uh, I feel like AFCON was during. Let me guess. AFCON. Wait, like if we can offer, if I feel like the only option that Morocco can match us in is in it's in AFCON. And the fact that they made it to the semifinals of a World Cup as well, you have to take that into the consideration as well. But when is Africa Cup of Nations? It was 2023. Wait, was it? Was it really? Wait, I need to take the. I need to see this. It was 2021, I think. Yeah, it was 2021. No, it's 2022. But when is AFCON during this cycle? That's what I want to know. I'm getting off track here, but I feel like if we're gonna offer him an Olympic spot, I feel like the only option Morocco have is to offer him a spot at AFCON, and I don't know, like it's gonna be pretty close between us and Morocco. And considering the fact as well that Morocco didn't make it to the semifinals of a World Cup, do I have to mention that again? They got players like Hakimi, they got players like Amrabat. Wait, I think his name is Amrabat, the D8, the box to box midfielder. Yeah, his name was Amrabat. Again, they got Aguero that looked pretty decent. Um, so again, they in the city as well. Bono, the goalkeeper as well. They were pretty decent. But we did manage to beat them in 3-0 in a friendly, which I feel like, which uh, we did play pretty great that game. When it comes to going into 2026, though, I feel like we might have a better project than Morocco. That's what I'm feeling like. Like I don't think Morocco are gonna do another run like that. Morocco were basically a home team during the World Cup. Basically, that's what they were. Like even though they're in Africa, like pretty much they weren't home. Like it's in Qatar, like it's in Arabia. So again, they were they 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 should have done that because basically they were the home side. Like that's what basically they were. Um. Okay, so when it comes to their squad again, I don't think it's the best thing in the world. Their squad, like again, I feel like we have a better squad. Looking into it, I don't know. It's gonna be pretty close, but I think we might have a little bit of a better project going into 2026. So again, we can use that to maybe, or maybe it can be a downside because you might say, Amir Richardson might say, hey, they need some midfielders. Because like, look, outside of Amrabat, who did they have? Hakim Ziyech was used as a right winger, I think, but he was pretty bad. Like, Ziyech has been pretty bad the last couple of years. So again, I'm getting off topic here, but it's gonna be pretty close between us and Morocco. So now let's go to wingers. Malik Tillman, Kate Cowell, and Cameron Paredes. So Malik Tillman should be used as a wide player. We don't have a lot of wide players at U23 level, or basically at any level, because basically outside of Christian Pulisic and Tim Moa, we basically have to play Brendan Ernst in the 10 out there. We're gonna have to play Terry Booth. I think he's a natural number 10 as well out there. So I think Malik Tillman has to play at number 10 at this level. I think he has to. Um, Again, if we can find a good backup option for Tim Moa on the national team that can at least do a job, um, I can probably risk putting Terry Booth on this Olympic roster. And it'll make it a lot better. It'll make it a lot better. Kevin Brady's, I feel like he'll have a pretty. I think he'll grow upon what he did there of Wolfsburg last season. He was pretty good. He scored some winning goals. He scored some goals. He provided some assists, and he looked pretty good. Um, Karen Paredes, I feel like he's a player that is very tricky. He will run at you. He knows how to dribble. He knows he knows a lot. Very good attacking player. He was originally he was a left back at DC United, but they switched him over, and I feel like he's been a pretty good transition over for the young American. Uh, Cade Cowell, I feel like the he'll be the the that really special thing off the bench. He's a very different player from the other guys that we have on this roster. Cade Cowell can do a run in behind. He can dribble at people. He can run at people, and he will. I feel he will still be pretty successful at this level. He didn't receive any offers from Europe following the U20 World Cup, which I found surprising. I feel like he was one of our best U20 prospects during the World Cup. But again, you know, who knows? Uruguay, he didn't do a lot of that game. I don't think so. He could have done a whole lot better. But I feel like Kikau is still a pretty good prospect. Other guys that you probably have to look out for is Diego Luna. Again, Diego Luna has been playing pretty good for RSL. He's been he has been pretty good in the League's Cup so far. He's been looking pretty good out there. So we have some pretty good prospects. So now let's go to the strikers. Ricardo Pepi should be the starting striker with Josh Sargent as the backup and as the third and final player over the age of 23. So a lot of people got mad at me at the Copa America video for saying, why is Ricardo Pepi not there? Why is Josh Sargent not there? Because I had them both during the Olympics roster, and Josh Sargent, I selected Josh Sargent for the Olympics mostly because he's more versatile than Haji Wright. Haji Wright's more of a pure striker. Josh can play as a midfielder. He has played as a midfielder before. He can play as a winger. He can play out wide as well, and he can obviously play the number 9. As a number 9, I feel like the only weakness he has is scoring goals. That's basically the only weakness I see in his game. Hold up play, aerial threat. He's a pretty good aerial threat, linking up with teammates. When it comes to defending, he's pretty good. Pressing, I feel is pretty average. So I feel like the only weakness he has as a number 9 is basically his main job, which is to put the ball out in the net. But outside of that, I feel like he's a pretty good player. Um, I feel like Josh can do a pretty good job in the Olympics. That's what I'm feeling like. Again, like let's say with other strikers at U23 level outside of Balogun and Pepe, Nathan Ordas has been looking pretty good in the Leagues Cup so far. He scored goals in back-to-back games, and if he can continue this form into next season, I feel like we can put Nathan Ordas in the Olympics roster and put Ricardo Pepe on the bench for the Copa America, which I feel like he'll be the perfect solution, the best solution possible for this squad. So now let's go to the possible 11, which will be pretty interesting. So I don't think James Sands should start in the Olympics. I feel like he's one of the first options off the bench. So Slonina at goal, back four Wiley, Pierre, Neal, and Reynolds. Double pivot of Tanner Tessman and Rokas Buxtas. Paxton Aronson at number 10. Malik Tillman as a left winger. Cam Brady is as the right winger. And Ricardo Pepi is the number 9. So basically, I feel like this is a pretty good team on paper, and this is a team that most certainly can get a gold medal. I'm getting way too ahead of myself. They can get a medal in the Olympics. That's what I'm feeling like. This team can get a medal in the Olympics. If all goes well, and if we can add other players as well, like Taylor Booth. Again, other players are eligible for the Olympics are Gio Reyna and Yunus Musa and Johnny Cardoso, but I feel like those guys are senior players already. Balogun as well, but again, he is a senior player and should be in the Copa America playing at one of the highest levels possible at the international sport. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.